Hey there YouTube, Heir of Carthage here. Sorry that first screen was quick, but hopefully you got to see who my opponent was, and this is the Yamasaki Choke Point map. I actually put all my men because I was going to rush this hill, thinking my opponent would probably do the same, but my opponent put all of his men over here across this river on this hill. So let me show you his army first and show you his name. Right here he, he has a pesky unit of European cannons, and he placed it right here on the side of this hill. It does end up getting some good shots on me, but I kind of wonder how, unless these units can move. Wasn't really a very good positioning, and to be quite frank, I'm not sure why people bring European cannons in this game. Mainly because I don't think you can move them once they've been placed, and if you play on all the maps on this all the maps of this game pretty much have like hills and stuff, and from Napoleon Total War people probably ought to learn that artillery firing round shot without, a howitzer or something is going to be pretty hard to use unless you just get good position. But in any case, that's one of my opponent's units. Let me show you his name there in case you didn't catch it on the opening screen. Well, actually, you can't see the whole thing, so you'll see it on the results screen. I have the results screen. Sorry, I gotta be guzzling water during this so that I can try not to cough in everybody's ear. Let me show you the army he brought. He brought a pretty interesting one, I thought. I think he has 4 units of these Naginata warrior monks. Very cool units. Their main benefit is their morale. They do have a good attack and pretty good melee defense, but their main benefit is their morale. These guys have killer morale, and unless the general dies, they will pretty much fight to the death. Very cool units. The Naginata, I was reading a little bit about it online, just real quick, not a whole lot, but apparently some people still like to train with the Naginata. Not to actually kill people and stuff, but it's kind of like a martial art that some people like to learn, and actually I think they said that it's prominent among women in Japan for whatever reason. But yeah, the Naginata is basically just kind of a sword tip on the end of a pole, as you can see there. And its benefits was that in a battlefield, in an open battlefield, you could hold a pretty large space of ground because of the reach of the weapon. And its advantages over a sword would have been, of course, the reach and your ability to keep your opponent at a distance. But some of the disadvantages, of course, is that it was heavier, and in close quarters, it doesn't have as much of a cutting surface. And a sword in an expert hands could be wielded much quicker in close quarters. But again, the Naginata was an interesting weapon. Here he's got some Nodashi Samurai. He's only got 1 unit of those. Here's his avatar. His avatar is actually wearing what Patchy should be wearing, except it's in a different color. So I think my opponent has 2 Yari Cav. Yep, he's got 2 regular Yari Cav here. In fact, I'm not sure my opponent brought any veteran units other than his avatar, which of course is a veteran unit. So I guess my opponent wanted to just go straight up no veteran units. And with Naginata monks as your infantry, you can probably pull that off because they're pretty good. And as long as you keep them from getting shot by arrows, these guys will get the job done. Alright, let me move over to my army. I'm going to go ahead and put in fast forward too, because you can see he and I are in a momentary stalemate. Here, oh dang, I missed the best part. Crap. I always miss the good parts that I want to show you. This is actually 1st Patchy's Guards, which is a Yari Cav unit, and you can see that they're not on horses. You might be saying, Heir, what the crap happened to their horses? Well, it was actually pretty darn funny. That European cannon unit opened fire, and while I was dismounted, it hit my horses, and all my horses scattered and ran off. So, yeah, it was pretty bad luck for me. But again, I have to say, it was pretty darn funny. So I typed a little message to my opponent saying, kind of laughing at it. So now these guys are just going to be foot. They're basically just like a Yari Samurai once they're dismounted. So definitely a handy unit still, considering that I have no cavalry other than Patchy, and my opponent has several units. Let me show you the bulk of my army. I have 3 Bow Ashigaru. 1 is not a veteran, the other 2 are. I brought Arrow in Your Eye and Death from Above. Let's see, I brought some Yari Ashigaru. I got my Proud Patchies there. And let's take a look at my sword units. I have Patchy's Sword Brethren. I have Katana Face, Slash and Trash. I don't think you guys have gotten to see them yet. That's Slash and Trash. And then I have Patchy's Slashies. And right here on the end, I have Better Start Running. Tried to be creative with that name. And then out here on this side, I've got Patchy's Spear Wall. Yeah, and I think you've met all my... Oh, except for one last unit. In this forest right here, hiding, and they can actually hide even on open ground as long as they're not too close to enemies. This is a unit of Kisho Ninja. So this is an extremely cool unit. They're stealthy on the battlefield, and like I said, they can hide anywhere except for like crossing a river, unless your opponent gets close enough to spot them. And they even have a special ability where they can run and stay hidden for a short period of time. So extremely cool unit, but you have to be careful with them. They're only 45 in number. They have an extremely high attack. They have a cool missile weapon, which I will show you later. A devastating missile weapon if you use it right, but they are extremely vulnerable to cavalry. So my opponent and I were typing back and forth. We agreed that we would come off of our hill and fight on even ground. So I think I opened up a good dialogue with my opponent. We had a pretty friendly match going on, and later on, though, you're going to see that maybe you should be careful when getting in a friendly dialogue with Heir. Sometimes I take my strategies too far, and you'll see what I'm talking about. I do want to show you this part. I'm going to actually leave it and fast forward because this battle is actually extremely long. I tried to cross the river thinking that maybe they could stay hidden, and the reason I told you they can't stay hidden in the river is because right when I started to, he moved these Nodashi Samurai to protect his cannons. I was going to actually sacrifice my ninja unit and kill his cannons just for fun, even though I knew his cannons would run out of ammo. The cannons do have very limited ammo, so I just marched my men up, and I'm going to let him shoot at me. I don't care. It's not going to do that much damage. The only thing is I forgot to move Patchy, but fortunately in that opening cannon volley, only some of Patchy's brethren there were killed and not Patchy himself, so I was quite happy about that. My opponent pulled kind of a cool move here that kind of reminds me of like a Pillar Shield in Rome Total War. He put these Lone Sword Ashigaru out front, and they were like interrupting my ability to fight the bow fight. And right here, when I ran my bows back, he types, "Well, oh, you're in a pickle now." And I said, "What do you mean?" And he said, "Well, you had to retreat, so you must be in a pickle." And I said, "No, I don't really think so." And so I basically just started rethinking my strategy here. I wasted a bunch of arrows on these Lone Sword, and I shouldn't have, because that's what my opponent wants me to do. Sorry, I had to get a drink. Any case, he wants me to waste my arrows because he's got warrior monks. And I don't want to use all of my arrows because I want to be able to shoot some of his warrior monks. But my opponent, like I said, is very intelligent, and he's trying to make me waste my arrows. So from now on, I make sure that I target his units properly. So here I start to get a pretty darn good piece of this bow samurai unit. My opponent only has 2 bow samurai. There I ran up and killed his lone sword unit. So now they're out of the way. They got a little bit out of position, so I decided to kill them. And yeah, in any case, I normally say my opponents waste their flaming arrows when they shoot at my bows, but in this case that's not true, because my opponent has the Naginata warrior monks, and he's going to want to get rid of those all my bows. So every bit of ammo that he spends on my bows and every kill he gets is totally worth it, because the Naginata are so vulnerable to bows. Now right here, I was so worried his cavalry was going to find my ninjas, because he knew they were out here. And so I put them on their special ability and ran them away in stealth, because his Yari Cav could have totally killed my ninjas, and that would have made me extremely sad, as I really want to use these guys. You can now see that he has his Yari Cav hidden over there, but I now have an advantage in the bow department, just so long as I don't allow my bows to be killed by his Yari Cav. So I'm going to move them up. Here he started to move his Nodashi Samurai across the river, so I started shooting the crap out of these guys.
Hidden units, my lord.
Killed a whole bunch of them. And here he moves his European cannons across. Now he knows he can just use these guys as fodder. So that's what he's going to do. Yeah, he's got Yari Cav behind my lines now. He's going to take it up here and hope that I forget about it. But my number one concern at this point is guarding my my general. So I'm going to put him up here right on this hill where it's kind of hard to charge into him. And I got my spears here to help protect. Sorry, excuse me.
Hidden units, my lord. Treacherously meant to ambush us.
But not only is my general vulnerable, my sword units are extremely vulnerable to Yari cavalry. So I have to be very careful, because now my Katana Samurai, you have to remember, these dudes are upgraded. And I upgraded their melee attack as one of the main things. And so, I mean, these guys have a melee attack of like 21 or something like that. So they have an insane melee attack. So these guys will pwn monks head on, unless the monks are oh, let me explain what my opponent's doing right now. This is a critical point in the battle. My opponent's running these Nodashi Samurai in loose formation, and I have to admit they were a tempting target because Nodashi are also very vulnerable to arrows, but I realized I was almost out of ammo. My opponent was out of ammo with his bow samurai, and so he was like, "Oh, now I just have to wait for you to run out of ammo." and he so I quit firing at his Nodashi right here. You can see that I've quit firing, or at least I start to quit firing. I actually took my men off of fire at will, but when I move up here, they go ahead and start firing anyway. I guess they can't help but try and fire this juicy target of idiot Nodashis who are just running around on the beach, begging to be shot, and I guess it's just too tempting for my bowmen. But I do tell them to stop firing, so I take them off fire at will, halt all their actions, and so now at this point, like I said, my opponent was waiting for me to run out of ammo, so I told him, I'm out of ammo. And some of you might be saying, Heir, come on, man, that's mean, you just lied to him. Well, I mean, it was almost true. I'm almost out of ammo. And then Heir's teaching you a good strategy here, and that strategy is, by gosh, don't believe what your enemy tells you in the midst of a battle. I mean, if you're in a fight, in a battle, would you, if your opponent said, hey, we're out of ammo over here, would you stick your head up over the barrier to find out if it was true? I mean, so yeah, I mean, I kind of feel bad because it was a little bit dishonorable of me, but yeah, you can't trust your opponent in a battle. But like I said, maybe that was part of my strategy here. I built up a friendly rapport with my opponent, and yeah, he probably shouldn't have believed what I told him about my ammunition. But like I said, I don't have a whole lot of arrows left. So, you know, it's not like I'm just going to unload on him. But I do let my opponent cross the river. I was trying to be nice and honorable. He came over here to run across the river, so I was like, you know what? I'll let him go across the river. We'll fight right here on even ground. So, you know, Heir hasn't lost all of his honor. Yeah, so I don't chase after him or anything to try and choke him up on the river. I let him cross the river. I didn't fire any arrows at him or anything like that. Here, Patchy wanted to go on a bonsai charge against these bonsai Nodashi. And check it out, man. That charge didn't do squat to these Nodashi samurai. So, yeah, I had to run out of there pretty quick before Patchy got killed. So that's twice that I've almost gotten him killed in this battle. Now, granted, these guys are extremely separated from their army and low in numbers. But here in a second, when I charge my sword unit down, I want you to see how brutal my katana samurai unit is. These guys have a pretty good charge, and like I said, they have 21 attack. So they're going to come in here and just instantly rout this Nodashi unit, and then I'm just going to run them right back up on the hill. That was Patchy's sword brethren. Don't mess with the sword brethren. So yeah, here I'm lining up my archers behind my men, conceivably just for show, because they're out of ammo, remember? Oh man, I'm terrible. Some of you are probably going to hate me for this. I have my spears set up in a defensive formation to protect Patchy, and I'm going to keep it that way. And I'm also going to set up my spears to protect my back lines when we start the fight here in a moment. And now I have one last little sleight of hand to play here. My opponent cannot see these ninjas. They are still hidden. Yes, they're in the middle of the open, but hey, they're ninjas. You can't see ninjas. They're invisible. So let me fast forward a bit. I'm going to walk these guys forward, and they can actually stay hidden while walking. These guys are awesome. I absolutely love the Kisho Ninja unit. I've been waiting so long to get to use this thing in multiplayer, and now I finally get to, so I'm so excited. And like I said, this is a very long battle. I hope you're not bored, and sorry for my my coughing and stuff like that, but like I said, I figured you'd rather have a video than no videos. And I've been making do. So here comes my dismounted Yari. They're going to go over here and be ready to guard the back of my my formation from the enemy Yari cavalry, which is right there. And the other unit is right there. So I'm guarding the choke points with my spears. Now, I put my Kisho Ninja out in the front of my army, and some of you may be wondering, Heir, why'd you do that? And now they're visible. That's true, they are visible. And my opponent's not going to like what he sees. Check that out there, my bow's opened up and killed a whole bunch of those warrior monks. Oh, it was right now when my opponent said, hey, nice lie about being out of ammo, and I was like, yeah, thanks. Check that out. Boom! See you later, warrior monks. Bet you didn't see that coming. Yeah, so that's the ninja special ability. They throw these little grenade things, and it is freaking awesome. So look at all the holes in the ground, and I hope you saw the monks go flying. That is how Heir treats warrior monks. But hey, don't underestimate these warrior monks, man. These guys are tough, real tough. So here they are fighting against 3 chevron katana samurai, and still doing quite well. Even though they're losing the fight, you can see that their morale is better than the morale of my katana samurai. So I do have to move up my general and throw my archers in to try and bolster my numbers. So that's what I'm doing here. But still, it's a brutal fight down here. Here's his Naginata monks Oh man, that guy just got totally stabbed. And then I think my ninja are engaged somewhere too. Dang, where did my Kisho ninja end up? I don't remember where my ninja unit ended up. I think they're right here somewhere. Yeah, there they are. There's some of my ninjas. So here they are duking it out. Yep, there's the enemy general's unit down here in the midst of battle. He dismounted for some reason. And here, my opponent tries to get revenge by killing Patchy. But Patchy stands his ground and fights. Very bravely, might I say. And holds off these Yari Cav. And the enemy troops went ahead and routed. Now you can see my strategy there mainly was I knew that my Katana Samurai actually could stand one-on-one with his monks, but you can see those monks did pretty good even still. But you have to keep your samurai's morale up. But how'd you like that special ninja attack there right before the battle? I thought that was pretty darn sweet. So that was the Kisho Ninja. I hope that was a good introduction for them. I'll be using those guys a lot in the future as I'm a huge fan of stealth and ambushes. And so that was one thing that my opponent probably didn't expect, to see his monks go exploding through the air. Hope you enjoyed that battle. Good game to my opponent. I have to say sorry to him. Sorry, Heir, told you a little white lie. But you know the old saying, man, all is fair in love and war, and that certainly wasn't love. So in any case, like I said, good game to my opponent. This is Heir Carthage signing off for now.